Hi, everybody. It's kind of an impromptu thing. Trying out the live stream. Happy Tuesday. And just set up everything here in the set up everything here in the shop, in the office, to see how it would work. Aha, see? So today we're going to be comparing the Wildwood with the normal gold standard Mjolnir. I get this question all the time. I thought, how should I do all this? And the easiest answer is a live stream. So we can have it, we can save it, as long as it sounds good. And, whatnot. We're just going to leave it up and we'll answer all the questions. So what is the difference? Jacob, yes, what is the difference? So the difference is the standard Mjolnir is like an evolution of everything I've learned about the Klon style circuit. There's a lot of changes. It's considerably darker. It has less gain and a little less honky, a little less mid-range forward. And the Wildwood is as close as I can get to my personal silver Klon Centaur, which is like from kind of the end of production. So I did everything I could to sonically replicate my Klon. I didn't like degoop it, but I sat and listened and took my my schematic and notated everything I thought would shift it in the direction of my personal Klon, and this is what I landed on. So I'm just going to play a little bit, let you guys hear it. I'm playing a Novo TCS. This isn't mine. This is the showroom's guitar, which they don't make it anymore, so it just kind of floats around, and it actually has some prototype Mythos pickups in it, and I thought, why not show that on here too? So playing through the PRS HX50, going through the aux, and this is what we got. Here's my bypass signal. So I'll start off with the standard Mjolnir. Gain all the way down. Here's the Wildwood. With the gain all the way down, it doesn't really matter because the circuit in and of itself isn't really affecting anything. There is some differences in the taper of the gain control and the volume control, but everything else should be basically the same. So as we start bringing the gain up, I'll do that on both. You're going to start to hear a little bit more of a difference. So start with it on 0. It's kind of hard to see. Now we're at about, what is that, 1 o'clock? Go all the way. Can we hear the clean tone with no breakup? I didn't say clean tone. I said bypass tone. I mean, that's about as clean as that amp gets. So if I play really lightly, there's a clean tone. It's going to be really hard to tell because the aux is going to compress, YouTube's going to compress. If we do the same thing on the standard. I don't know if that's coming across, but the standard Mjolnir is considerably darker. So if I set everything in like noonish, hopefully we're going to get a good difference. You know, the feeling of it. Let me go to the middle position. I feel like I'm doing myself a disservice, and these both sound exactly the same. So yeah, both of them are going to clean up the same. You can hear that's the Mjolnir on. The volume on the guitar is at about 2 or 3. They're fairly close to each other, and it's funny. Some people I know that have gold gold clans, not Mjolnirs, gold clans, and have used a gold Mjolnir say that it sounds closer to their gold than their Wildwood does to their gold. I don't know. They all sound different. Derek, if the Wildwood edition weren't for Wildwood, would you have wanted to make it the standard version? No, because this is all through hole, right? Except for a few parts in the charge pump. It's quite a laborious build. So these are so much easier to make because, you know, really took time designing a surface mount board that sounds good, is quiet, and does everything I want it to do. And there's no reason why this couldn't sound like this with tweaks. It's just there's a mojo thing, and what Wildwood wanted was the through-hole, you know, handmade vibe, which I understand. I love the big box. I wish that everything I made was in this bigger box, but that doesn't work for everybody. So, you know, if I had it my way, they would all be in this box surface mount. But I feel like I've kind of backed myself into a corner by releasing, you know, this version and this version. So it's like if I switch this, it might confuse people. But yeah, so let me see if I can go over some of the treble control ranges and see if you can really hear the difference in that. Again, I don't know how well this is coming across. They have a very similar range. The thing that the Wildwood does, the thing that the Wildwood does that most clones don't get right, or most clones, excuse me, don't get right. The clone gets right because it is right. But the way the Wildwood sounds to my ears is there's more information at both the low and the high end of the spectrum. And it's true across the entire range of the sweep of the treble pot. There's a little bit more treble and a little bit more low end just across the board. And the way the standard kind of functions is that it's a little more focused. It's not. It's more of a traditional sounding tone control. It doesn't go as extreme, at least in comparison to this, through certain amps. You know, something like a deluxe reverb style amp. It's going to be, this thing's going to be a little bit more hi-fi at the higher end of the spectrum, a little bit more dark and have more low end push at the low end of the spectrum. Whereas this is going to be a little more focused and not get as swept wildly left to right. I'm glad you guys are saying it's sounding good. So that's great. Keith, hey, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Chris asked how it stacks with the high road. I don't think the high road with like a higher gain pedal stacks super well. Or I mean, like if you ran, you know, the Mjolnir with really low gain, it's going to stack well. But the moment you kind of get past that, I feel like the high road has too much, at least in my opinion. That's why I like the AU79 so much. But anyway, we're not talking about the Golden Fleece. We're talking about the Mjolnir. So hit me up with any questions about the Mjolnir, and we'll kind of talk about that. I love this circuit. The Wildwood is one of my favorite pedals that I make, and probably, you know, if I had to like grab one pedal to take to a gig, it's probably going to be this. So that's kind of like my preferred setting. So I run the gain kind of low, treble boosted a little bit, and a little output. What amp am I going through? I'm going through the PRS HX50 through an aux, which has got the 4x12 like greenback cab thing going. All Things Weatherly asks, what's the difference with all the versions of the Mjolnir? Are there differences? Since I went to the 125B, which is the larger box, you know, like your JHS, Wampler, Earthquaker style enclosure, they've all been basically the same. Except for the very first ones, which were still through hole. If they have, I don't have anything within arm's reach. If they have the jacks that have like a plastic nut on them, then some of the first ones on those were definitely through hole. If they have a panel mount jack, looks like a switchcraft jack, none of those are going to be through hole, not on a standard Mjolnir. The smaller ones, like 1590 B style enclosures, like the Dynacomp size, all of those are through hole. And the circuit, apart from like the construction method, has evolved. The very first ones were just like your bog standard Centaur style circuit, no changes except for the diodes. And then as I kept building, when they got into the bigger box, then a lot of little changes happened sonically, and now it's like the culmination of all that. Yeah. And the Wildwoods, they changed a little bit. The first ones were, again, just like my representation of a Klon, but it was just based off the classic circuit. After I got mine and realized, oh, this isn't right, and this doesn't sound right, and this is different than this, sonically, I changed it. And that was probably about, I don't know, like 70 or 100 pieces in. And now we're, you know, I don't know, 1,000 or so pieces in. Adam asked what the difference between the silver and the gold version for I assume the 125B style standard Mjolnir. The silver one has germanium clipping diodes, which gives you a little bit more compressed feel. So again, I hope this comes across. Let's see. We'll turn the gain down. the output down rather. See if we can kind of feel the way the gain sounds as we crank it up. Let's get it kind of pushed. You can hear how much less gain this has, but also it's not super apparent, because what happens in reducing the gain, it gives it more of a compressed, smoother feel like this. Where does the 10-year edition fit into this lineup? It's just this in a different box. No changes. Oh wait, actually, no, I stand corrected. The 10-year is the very first circuit, so it's like the very first Wildwood Mjolnir. So it's not exactly the pure sonic replica of my Centaur like this is supposed to be. I'm gonna text one of the guys and see if they can bring me my my Novo S, because I have my S, which is a Strat style guitar. And maybe that will showcase this in a different way, so we can mix it up from just the humbuckers. But again, these are the Mythos humbucker set. This is the proto set that I've been working on with Porter pickups, and really digging it. So the neck currently has an A4 magnet. Not the Idris. I can't. I'm not going to show you guys the Idris yet. And the bridge has an A3, which normally I don't like, but they wound it a little hotter, and then it was just kind of pokey on the edges with the magnet we initially put in, and so I swapped it and then put the cover on it, and it kind of really like softened all the edges, and it gives a really great. Aha! Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you, sir. Ah, it's not the Idris. I'm sorry. I have seen the Idris, and it is good. So this is my Novo Ceres S. It is currently strung with the Hendrix strings, and it's tuned down to E flat, because you know, Hendrix, you'll soften my edges. Oh man. Still in tune. So yeah, so here we go. We'll try some of this again with the S. I don't know if it's coming across. They sound a little different to me, but my little cheap in-ears are just not really showcasing what this thing does. Huge output. They do have a ton of output. And ultimately, I think what we're kind of seeing here is that despite the fact that there are differences, they are still both Mjolnirs. So, you hate that single coils tell a clearer story because you love humbuckers so much. Same. So yeah, so the Ceres S has. It's funny, like I'm not normally like a Strat style player, but this guitar, I wholeheartedly believe it's one of the best guitars I own, and it's funny because unless you're like myself or Calcidos or one of the guys who had the foresight before they discontinued it, you can't get this guitar anymore unless you buy it secondhand. So. But the Idris is coming. I am using the HX50. Let's see. I'm going to keep that output low, so maybe we can really get another taste of what the gain range kind of does. The Klon in general and the clones, if they don't sound exactly the same with that gain knob all the way down, then they're not doing it right. Sounds the same. Do the same thing on the standard. What pickups are in it? They're Fralin Hots, I think. I think you can kind of hear that this is lower gain. Let's do this. Maybe not. There you go. I don't know where my clip-on tuner is, so it's somewhere in the shop. But anyway, now I've been going for about 25 minutes. Let's open it up to some more questions. So hit me in the chat. Let me know what you're thinking. And I'll try to answer them. So Derek asked a great question. It's like the low gain thing. So how does it work? So I've used this example before, but basically, let's say, the gain knob is a dual ganged pot, and it's wired to, when it's all the way down, right, it is the clean mix all the way up. And as you turn it up, the clean mix is blended out, and the drive signal is blended in. So it's working kind of like this. right? So that when it's all the way down, the clean is all the way up. And as you're blending the drive in, the clean is blended out. So that's why when it's all the way down, you should get an absolute perfect representation of your bypass signal just with the treble and the output control in line. So is there a need to select and match the clipping diodes for the clone circuit to sound good? You know, this is something that you can, and it does kind of matter, you know, a little bit. You can tell when things are perfect, but it's so marginal that the diodes in the Wildwood Mjolnir are very specific. I'm using new old stock stuff, mostly from the late 70s and the 80s, and they kind of fall within a certain parameter. And I've found that matching them and not matching them doesn't yield that much result, not enough to warrant the amount of work that it would take to hand match diodes. Because at the tolerances that these are at, I mean, they're so tight that you're going to drive yourself crazy trying to get them to match perfect, because even, you know, like just holding it in your hand and getting it warmer, just like a pickup, is going to give you a different reading slightly. So we don't match them anymore. I've seen people make posts about these being hand matched, and I think I've taken that off of my website. I hope Wildwood has as well. I'll have to double check. But they are not perfectly hand matched. They are selected. You know, we are using a very specific diode pair that every Wildwood Mjolnir, except for like the first 10, have used. And yeah, so. Oh, how does the gain control function different than other overdrives? Well, that's a good question. So a lot of times gain controls, like in, say, a tube screamer. Here, hold on. Okay. So, tube screamer, right? How a tube screamer's gain control is working. Can I put this in here? It is basically increasing the output of an op-amp stage, right? So you're changing the output of an amplifier, and you know there's clipping diodes in that section of the amplifier, and that's causing it to clip more. If you don't have those diodes there, you're actually clipping the op-amp itself, and that's how most overdrives work. The vast majority kind of function in that way. Either they're doing that, or they can be setting the bias of a transistor or something like that. If it's a hard clip circuit like the Mjolnir is, the amplifier is just, you know, the gain control is increasing the amplification, and then they're hitting those diodes and causing it to clip more, and that's creating the distortion. So, hand matching has been proven that is fairy dust. Hand matching does matter in some things. We still hand match every diode pair in the Argonaut, because I've found that the best sounding version of that circuit is when you use a hand matched pair of germanium diodes. The different forward voltages, depending on the diode selection, does matter, but it's more important that they're really close in spec. So you can't believe I don't like the tube driver. The tube driver is okay. It's noisy. I don't know. It just doesn't. I've played some real ones. I've played some clones that use JFETs and stuff. It's just not my favorite. You know, I caught a lot of flack recently on Dipped in Tone for not liking things, and you know that's fine. The Maxon OD820 is kind of a marriage of a tube screamer style circuit and a Klon. The gain control functions very similarly, but the rest of the circuit is more or less living in the tube screamer camp. So. Yeah. So I guess that kind of covers a lot of it. We've not been going that long, but this is one of those things that's like, it doesn't require that much explanation because there's really not that much to explain. It's like they're different, but can sound kind of close to the same. It's an aesthetic thing. I love this style enclosure. I love this art. I love everything about this. This tormented me. Just picking the font and all the little things about redoing the art because I really wanted to change all of the art. I'd kind of grown tired. The Zeus face I was just completely over. And all the other pedals, to me, they looked a little too much like an Earthquaker or some other, like, older Walrus things. And like that was of a time, but it wasn't me now. And so that's why everything became this, which was, perfected. The idea was perfected by Karen from Big Ear, who helps me do the Oracle. So, what is next for the Mjolnir? Derek, that's a great question. Yeah, what is next? I would really like to make it where people can't blow it up. Because, fun fact, y'all, any proper replica of a Klon Centaur is going to have a charge pump. And it's also going to have a Zener protection diode that if you put anything above 12 volts, 11 volts, it goes and it dies. And your pedal doesn't work, or your pedal will like motorboat or make weird things, or in the absolute worst case scenario, voltage gets through, it blows up your charge pump, it could blow up your caps, it could do all sorts of things, which is bad. So, I would like to make it where it's harder to blow up, and maybe that means discontinuing the use, at least in this, of the charge pump entirely. You can make a Klon without a charge pump. Does it sound the same? No, but if you use it at 18 volts, it's going to sound the same. You could use either or. And then that is going to save me a lot of headache and a lot of broken pedals. So that might be the next move. There's a lot of people that break out the clean and the drive knob. So you have independent control over the clean mix and the drive control. I don't particularly care for that. I think that the beauty of the circuit is when these work in tandem. There are ways to add a bass control. The thing about the bass on the Klon, is the Soul Food mod that JHS did. I never realized what the bass switch did because I always ran the gain too low, but the bass was only affecting the dirty signal, which makes sense. If you use it as an overdrive and you want a little more bass, you flick that switch and you got a little more bass. But if you wanted to increase the low end of the clean side, if it's it's shy of 11 o'clock, you're not going to hear it unless you increase the bass on the clean side of things. So I thought about that, having a control that controls both the low end on the dirty and the clean side. So you have a really nice high-end shaping feature and a low-end shaping feature. But that's going to take, that would take a little tweaking. You want it to cut, be neutral, and add. Not a total active situation, not like, a back-send-all style thing, which you could do that. But in using kind of the basic roots of what the circuit has, you could do that. It would just require some clever routing and a very specific tapered potentiometer and style of potentiometer. Does the Wildwood function better on 9 volts than hooked up to a battery source? No, it doesn't function any better, but you can't blow it up on a 9-volt battery. So there is that. It's the only pedal we make with a battery clip. Is the Joey Landreth version gone for good? No. We could still do it. We just haven't figured out how to do it because I don't want to put the Zeus face on it. I don't think Joey wants me to put his face on it, although I can't speak for Joey. But I can't imagine he's, narcissistic enough to want his face on there. Pre-gain bass control is magical like a Wampler Euphoria. Euphoria is a great pedal. Add an additional boost switch. That would make it perfect. Yeah, I mean, like, it's one of those things. Like, I've thought about all this, and I've started, like, mocking it up in the computer so many times, but it's like, the essence of Mythos is what remains true to what I like as a guitar player. Because I could poll, and I could question, and I could do anything that anybody wants. But if I don't love it, I'm not going to be happy making it. So, you know, I feel like that's the way I have to retain my focus in that. And so I have to make sure that I'm making something that's true to me as a player. You think it's important to start explaining how certain EQ designs function. Active controls, cut controls, why knobs shouldn't be at noon. Oh yeah, I mean, that's kind of true. I mean, so I mean, that's something you have to consider with every pedal. You know, an active style EQ in most situations is, it's kind of hard to see these knobs on this thing, the angle of the camera. Here, I'll do this. On like a backsend DAW, something like a BB preamp, for example, when the tone knobs are at noon, it's kind of neutral, it's flat, and all that's set and shaped with resistors and caps. But as you turn it up, it's adding treble, and then it's cutting treble beyond noon. Most passive circuits, like this, I mean, it has like a preset kind of frequency, but I mean, really, if you put it all the way up, it's kind of how the pedal sounds without it in the circuit, and then you're cutting. Most pedals are kind of like that. They're a passive circuit that is just putting a cap to ground, not too dissimilar from a guitar's tone knob. I mean, doing this, you know, is just a very narrow frequency from what most tone circuits do in a pedal. Like on a Klon style circuit, if you just disconnected the treble control, you just like lifted the first lug or whatever, it's gonna sound like that. It's gonna, which in this instance sounds pretty good. But like if you're playing it through an amp loud in a room and you have it cranked, you're like, holy, you know, it's too bright. Please, not too many goblins. The gold Novo, yes. This isn't mine. This is the shop's. This is Novo's showroom TCS that has Mythos pickups in it. So just testing how I like the sound of covers. Would I ever consider making a dual pedal with a fuzz and Mjolnir? No. No, I don't want to, because for one reason, people blow these up all the time. We probably get one back, at least one a week, that people have fried. And so the idea of not only frying one, but two pedals is a bit unnerving. You know, and you could wire it in such a way that they're isolated from each other and they're not going to cascade and have a complete and utter catastrophic failure. But the idea of frying two pedals at once, it's just kind of bad. I never want to put the Mjolnir in with another pedal. I never want to. I have no interest in that. Other things, sure, because, you know, they're harder to kill. But people do it, and it's fine. Like, if they want to do it, you know, and they may have better situations than I do on protecting it. Mine is like a note-for-note copy of their protection diode arrangement. And if you look at a real Klon, on the circuit board, there's a part that's ungooped, and it's that protection diode, because Bill Finnegan knew, oh, these are going to get blown up, and you're going to have to get in there and change that. Pickups sound good. Thank you. That's the neck. It's kind of hard to see. So there's a... Is in between. There's the bridge. Still trying to dial it in. And the height, you know, and this is not perfect. We're getting it. We're getting it. When are the pickups going to be available? Don't know yet. We're still fine tuning it. I may change the magnet in the neck. I may change the magnet again in the bridge. The fact that I've got a cover on it changed the sound, and these are things that you have to consider. So I want to make sure it's super balanced. Going to an A3 in the bridge kind of lowered everything a little bit. You know, the output kind of dropped just a little bit. And so while this is overwound in relation to the neck, now that I have a bit of a weaker magnet, it's not as balanced as I would want it. And these are things you have to consider. Are the Mythos pickups going to have a split? No, they're probably not going to be 4-conductor. I think they'll all be just normal 2-conductor wire. You Velcro and taped your Mjolnir and Airlane drive together, so they're basically a single pedal. See? Most time people don't plug in the 18-volt thing on purpose. It's usually an accident, or their power supply has failed. They don't know because most pedals can handle it. Yeah, they don't know. Plug it in and dead, and that happens. Would I ever make a high gain version? Like the high shred room of the Bondi sick ass? No. I did that for Rob Chapman. I made a high gain, a higher gain version of the Mjolnir. We called it the Titan. That was years ago. And it was just, I don't know. If you don't get it right, it oscillates. I never was super fond of having a high gain thing. I think having clipping switches and stuff is cool. But again, it comes down to usability. Like who's gonna, you know, like if you're using, like you need more than that. Like I don't know, like I can't imagine needing much more gain than that just in the pedal. I mean, especially if you're hitting like an amp. Or, you know, you could use it if we use them together. I don't want to play any riffs and get like a copyright strike. Calcidos, thank you. Yeah, it's similar to a 1981 DRV at that point. Yeah, just like I don't know, like it's just not for me. That sort of thing, because I don't like, as much as I enjoy that style of music, oftentimes like I prefer a little lower gain, or I would rather hit the amp, you know, push the amp harder and then hit it with the pedal. You got the plenty because of me. Man, I have it right over here. Let's see. We'll do this, and then we'll end it, okay? So for those that don't know, I recently got a Strandberg. kind of tied to my chair with these in-ears. And yeah, so like Rhett, and I got it for 2 reasons. I was 3 reasons. I was super interested in these. I liked the ones I played, you know, and McKinley, who works with me, is very like he was very much digging them, and then we both kind of gave ourselves the bug. And then I got it also to piss off Rhett, because, I mean, if you can do something and also annoy someone else, like why wouldn't you do that, right? Because, you know, that's fun. Mythos pedals delivered at a post office, going in pick up an hour. Oh, yours is at the post office. That's awesome. Do I ever want to venture into making modulation or reverb? Yeah, absolutely. I just have to find the way to do it. We have the prototype for the Univibe. It sounds really bad. They're not all home runs right out of the gate. Yeah. Derek, you want to try one of these? Yeah, it's I mean, it's different, right? I kind of play it like this because it's more comfortable. So, I mean, I think it sounds really good. I definitely think it's made to be, sorry, I definitely think the pickups are tuned to go into something that's got a lot of effects, or you can like shape it really well, like into my HX Stomp and all that. So good. So good. And to something like, you know, the PRS HX50, it sounds great, but I don't think it's like I don't know. It's not the same. You wish everyone had my honesty. Me too. I think the coolest thing about this guitar, though, is the in-between position splits the coils, and then you have the two inner coils, I believe. I'm not entirely sure, but I mean, I think it sounds great. That's the neck. So here, like. The Mythos Univibe would be really sick. It's going to be sick once we get it working. My wrist looks so weird. It sounds awesome. It doesn't look terrible. This looks different. I just really enjoy it. I think it's such a fun guitar to play. And it's just like, you know, no, the Miku Stomp. I'm so tired of that joke. You know, it's just like, let's find a new thing. The new fart pedal. I'd even laugh at that. Maybe. I'm going to show you guys. Ooh. Neat. One thing that most guitars don't have is the inlay doesn't glow in the dark. Yeah, you can barely see that. It's worth it. So. I think the thing about this guitar, I know this stream is kind of devolved, but it makes me play guitar more. And that's the whole point of it, right? Like if I'm going to enjoy it and play this more, I play better on my other guitars, even though it's a fan fret and it's altogether different. Just Just the fact that I could sit on my couch and play it. It just makes me play guitar more. And that's so... It's just so important, you know. Get some kind of... You know, it's just weird. And it sounds great with the Mjolnir. Holy cats. I do play different with it, yeah. But I play different with everything. Like, that's why I'm very much the kind of person who sets up every guitar with different strings. Like the Novo S is set up with the Hendrix set. So it's got kind of normal top and then light, extra light middle, and then light bottom. And then this has 9.5 to 44. And you know, my TCS at home is 9 to 44 or so. And then my Les Paul is 10 to 46, you know, so it's all, you know, McKinley, don't let them shame you, Strand brother. Put PAFs in your set. You know, you can't really change the pickups easily in this because of the way they're mounted. So you could, I mean, I definitely could, but I'd have to show some real gumption. And again, like, so that's the middle position. So if I'm in the neck, and then go to the middle, the bridge. It's really hard to not play and go right into the microphone. You know, I just need to practice all my tapping. So, it's just funny on this sort of guitar. It's so easy to play, but then you play like, you know, and you just look like a dad who's like adopted this sort of guitar, and you know, it's like they're just doing their cover gig thing. It feels weird to play, you know, any like classic rock thing on it, you know. When is the next Airlane Drive releasing? Soonish. So we're actually doing a batch for dealers abroad because it was a real pain for people outside the U.S. to get their hands on one. So we're getting a special colorway just for export for now. Boomer Licks, that's right. And then hopefully, probably May. Maybe May. Well, May's this month. Oh, maybe the end of the month. Maybe early June. Yeah. So, do I have any formal electrical engineering background? No. I have a degree in psych, but no degree in electrical engineering. Anytime I have like a technical question, I rely on people who are much smarter than me. When will then be now? Soonish. So, I can grow a thick stash. My Billy Gibbons degree. Do I regret not getting an electrical engineering degree? No. Because every moment has led up to this, right? You need that. See, that's all I need. I just need to be able to do that and do this. This guitar is much easier to play standing up for me, but playing sitting down because of this shape or this, you can really easily just like set it in your lap any direction. So I think it's awesome. And I definitely will get another one of these days. So this with like the HX Stomp, I wish that the Helix Native could easily just like loop in, because it's so good. I Jordan, I was in the Only Sons. What would Kent do if I showed up to our gig with this? He would have pissed his pants. I wish I could remember all the solos from all that stuff. I can't remember it all. Because we had one, that was my favorite solos, Cutting Corners. Oh, that's it. I can't remember. I can't remember. It had like a little pedal steel lick at the end. So. I can't remember it. I'm just making an idiot of myself. At least there's only 28 people, right? So, anyway, this was the Wildwood Mjolnir versus the normal Mjolnir, the standard, the gold one, the smaller one. I'll never do a mini one. I don't ever want to make a mini pedal if I have to. It's only out of necessity, or if there's just so few components that it makes sense. I'm never going to do a mini Mjolnir. So, yeah. But anyway, we got like a minute till this is over, till it's an hour. So hit me with those questions real quick. Run them both together. All right. I'll set them both at noon, and I'll put the volumes down. So. It's so weird on this guitar. Like, everybody's expectation is going to be so different. Let's see. So if we use the gold one as a boost, that's the only thing is the first fret, you get really tripped up. So yeah, okay. These pickups are really hot, by the way, at least the bridge. All right, guys. That was an hour. I didn't think we'd do it. But here we are. So thanks for hanging. We're going to do this. What? Yeah. So thanks for hanging, guys. And I'll try to do more of these. We'll do the AU-79 versus the Golden Fleece versus the High Road versus the Blackout Fleece versus, I guess that's all of them. I guess that's all of it. Maybe I could bring the first version. I might sell a bunch of stuff. But I'll hold on to that very first Golden Fleece. I'm thinking about selling my big box High Road. There's a guy on Instagram that really wants it. Would it be hard to do this the whole time? A True Fire sponsorship. I'm not good enough for that. I can't explain anything. I can barely explain these pedals. But thanks, guys. The next time I'll do this, I'll just play the whole time. You haven't turned off the Blackout Fleece in 4 months. That's a long time. I'm glad the pedals held up that long. Caps only have like a certain shelf life. Oh, all things Weatherly, thank you. I feel like I'm busking. We'll get the guys coffee. Whoop. Ah. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.